Amen. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to the brethren that are here. Shabbat shalom to those that are watching from home or might watch later. And just Shabbat shalom to the people of the Most High Yah, to all his people. When we do stress all of his people. So all praises. As we always say, peace, salutations to the tribes of Israel, to all of those who are scattered, as the book of James talks about. Greetings and peace to all those who are scattered across the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Peace and shalom to you. As we always say, we are only quoting Shaul or Paul when he says to the Yahudim first, then to the nations, then to the Gentiles. And last but not least, the people that are broken, the people that are at the last rung, okay? They're at the last rung, the last level. They got a lot of stuff going on and they don't have any hope, okay? This word, this message is for you. The word or the gospel is to pull you out, okay? That's what the lament, the shepherd's staff, is to pull you out. You know that the great shepherd goes for his sheep, that he will leave an entire flock just for one. But if the shepherd comes and gets you and brings you back and you leave again, whose fault is that? Okay. So we have to get to a point that when Yahshua gets us out of a pit, okay, we can't be so quick to go back. Okay, can't be quick to go back. All right, because if I'm quick to go back to my pit, then I really enjoy my pit. Okay, my place of destitute and pain and whatever else, I keep going there because I'm actually comfortable there. Okay, I'm comfortable there. And Yahshua is to pull us out with that shepherd's staff. And unfortunately, some of us return back. So this word is to pull you out and to keep you out. Okay? With that being said, we got stuff to cover today. We're going to pick up where we left off last Shabbat. This is a unique topic now. Okay? Here we do our best to go through the word. We do our best, as far as educationally, with going through the Hebrew and going into the Septuagint, and we have a Peshet, we have our Aramaic of the New Testament, and we really try to keep in mind the context of everything that's talked about. But we have to realize that we all believe, okay, in the supernatural. You cannot read your Bible from cover to cover and not or ignore the supernatural. Okay, like that's just. There are some things that are beyond the human rationale. All right, we don't live in a time of antiquity when that was the main part of education, the supernatural. Okay, that was a main theme of society, right? We're in an era where scholarship and scholastic and degrees and letters behind your name. But when we go through our Bible, we go through our texts. To deny the supernatural influence, things that are not human, things that are not of this earth, interacting or having a major hand in human, right, progression. We're humans. We're progressing, but at some point we will not be. And the Bible is very clear on that. So we have to get ourselves together. We got to get ourselves in line, get ourselves together. Okay. So we're looking at part 3 today. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones. Finality in Him. And I ain't talking about Liu Kang off Mortal Kombat. All right. I ain't talking about Sub-Zero off Mortal Kombat. We're talking about Yahshua being the end game. Right? Not Thanos. Not Captain America swinging Mjolnir. All right, we're talking about Yahshua ending, the exclamation point. Okay, the shot at the buzzer, and it's game over. Dame Lillard waving. Greater than all that. Because at all them events, movies and games, we up, we hollering, we shouting, watch it over and over and over. But there's going to be there's going to be a superstar. A superstar that's going to shut it down. So, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones, finality in him. Okay, recap, because we're on part 3, and we got to at least just quick recap of part 1 and part 2. Part 1, okay, the first man, what's that in Hebrew?
Adam.
There you go. Yeah, look, so I just got to hear it come out your mouth.
Yes.
You got to come out your mouth. So Adam had his woman taken where? Out of him. So we got to keep, that is our 1 + 1. And all that we've went through, that's our 1 + 1. That this woman, that his bride came where? Out of him. Okay. That is our 1 + 1. Okay. All right. Bereshit, Genesis 2:23. And the man said, this is now bone of my bone. This is flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman because she was taken out of man. Get this thing off my screen. Don't bother me. Okay. So, and we have at the bottom, estem me et zamai, okay, ubasar mibsari, okay, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, because she was taken out of him. So the woman came from him. This is what he said. This is what he said. Okay, this is what he said. So 2 things. Make that 2 now. She came out of the man, and what he said when he saw her. And this is the first man. This isn't the second man, right? But there is a second man. Right? Okay. All right. If you don't know where you came from, how do you know where you were going? We use this phrase a lot during Black. I was thinking about that. We use this a lot during Black History Month. And I made a statement when we was going through our steps, getting ready for Pesach, that them steps, that stuff was good. And we ain't going to be doing that stuff just because it's to get ready for Passover or get ready for atonement. Man, I might need that in 2 months from now.
Amen.
That might be the word that the people need.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need?
Mm-hmm.
If he the head,
Mm-hmm.
and we under the head, and he's supposed to supply what is necessary for the joints to move. I don't care how big your muscles are. Your joints don't work, it's a wrap. Huh? If your joints don't work, it's a wrap. So if we don't know if you don't know where you came from, how do you know where you were going? So when it comes to the bride, the first bride, where did the first bride come from?
Adam.
Out of Adam, out of the man. The woman of the second man. The woman of the second man is going back where she came from. Hashtag facts. The woman of the second man is going back where she came from. Hashtag facts. One day we're going to be around some younger people now so they can understand. Okay, so I got to get up on that. You know, I miss when Josh was here. I could say facts. He'd be like, facts. Anyway, blessed to that family. I hope they're doing all right. The woman of the second man is going back where she came from. Okay, the woman is going back. So the bride of this second man is going to go back. All right, what's that? Good. Okay, which is what King David. Okay, so on part 1 we talked a lot about Adam. Part 2 we talked about King David, King Dawid or Dawood. Okay, and just a quick rehearsal. Remember, we had a lot of stuff going on that was very symbolic. We just had to stop because I did not want us to miss a main theme of this with David. So, quick recap: Absalom, who's the third son of David, right? Absalom led a revolt. Okay, gained the hearts of the people. All right, Absalom. What did his name mean again?
Father of peace.
Father is peace. Okay. Think David had big plans for him to give his boy a strong name like that? This gonna be the one. This gonna be the one. He gonna be the one to bring the kingdom home. All the things I dreamed about and all the things that Yah told me, he gonna be the one. But when the flesh gets in the way, or when something is of the flesh and not the ruach, things go another way. And instead of him being the son to carry the kingdom on and build the house and do all these different things, this one gonna try to kill you. Yeah, I think I'm a father. I think I had to kind of contemplate this. David mind. His third son. So that would be like my boy. My third son. My third son leading a revolt. He galvanized the heart of the people. And the people started following him. Then on top of that, my daggum nephew. My nephew Micah. Him and my son, they around the same age. Micah led the army. So I got my son revolt trying to kill me. And I got my nephew leading. Because Amasa, he was the general of the army. Whew. It's heavy. King is gone. He got a dip. If I stay here, I'm a dead man. The military has turned against me except my elite. Mighty men. My mighty men stay with me now. Just like movies we see on TV. The hero, the star, he got to leave. His crew leave with him. And then they got to galvanize farmers and peasants. Teach them how to fight. How did David have where all these men come from? If they had all these men, what they running for? They all the way out in Israel, all off in Mahanaim. We got to find. We need bodies. we need refugees. Interesting. We just read over. We will talk a little bit about it today. But there was a Cushite fighting with the mighty men. That's the one who went and told David. And your book is going to say he told the Cushi to run. Go get David the word. We got victory. Yeah, it was a Cushite out there. I know we just read over stuff. So we have Amasa, the nephew of King David, led the army of Absalom. Okay. Then we had Shimei. Right? We ain't talking about Shimei from coming to America. All right. Shimei, who was a Benjaminite. He was of the house of Saul. We talked about that last week. He was of the house of Saul. He got something personal, don't he? Who was Saul again? That's who David replaced, right? Can you imagine the prestige it felt to be a Benjaminite at that time? The first king of Israel is Shaul of the tribe of Benjamin. You know how good you feel? All them 12 tribes, and they all different. They all unique. They all about their own. We're human. And they was like, man, our king is the king. And Shaul, that tall brother, handsome brother, Denzel over there. Yeah, that's our king. Of all, Benjamin Myers, hey. Then all of a sudden, the man fell. The little shepherd boy then took the throne. Anyway, so this man cursed the king that they were leaving Jerusalem and going into exile. But we'll look at this. Shimei was a man of wealth and had a lot of influence. Okay? Man of wealth and had a lot of influence. We'll look at that too. We also remember the northern tribes were disgusted with the southern tribes of Judah. Remember that dialogue we was looking at last week? Remember the northern tribes? He's like, man, hold on, y'all tripping. We were the first ones to reinstall David. He killed the giant. He defeated the Philistines. If Absalom is gone, should we not put him back? But then y'all gonna jump in the front like, oh king, y'all weak. No. He's our kin. Well, we got more territory than you. So the dialogue between the northern and the southern. Sheba, remember Sheba, when we kind of ended on that a little bit about he was another Benjaminite, right? He was a man of Belial. Tried to start a second revolt. Remember what happened in 2 Samuel 20. He blew the shofar. All the men of Israel went where? Back to their tent. Some went with David, but a lot of them went back to their tent. And we didn't get off into it, but David did send Joab after him to kill him. Now, when Joab went after him, if we remember that he put Amasa, his nephew, in position. He said, hey, man, remember, you're flesh of you're bone on bone. Come back, man. David said to his nephew. David got a lot of stuff going on. You remember what the prophet said. Sword not going to leave your house. When my son is dead, my nephew tried to kill me. Like, man, look, I love you. I'm gonna put you. So David is doing things that is not what they would perceive as normal. We looked at him forgiven, right? People were coming back. They were asking for forgiveness, right? Amasa, Shimei. We had a dispute with Ziba and Mephibosheth. Right there was and I had been taught this, and this is one thing I'd say is true, that when we enter into this ruling and reigning with Christ, you have to be able to settle disputes. There was a land dispute. Mephibosheth, grandson of Saul, David gave him a lot of stuff. Ziba's mad. Why is he mad? Because he was the chief servant. So he was in line Torah inheritance. If nobody come and claim it, ain't nobody gonna claim it. Why? Everybody's scared of David. But David gave it to this man. So what does Ziba do? He taking all these raisins and food to David's men, and he said, yeah, this came from me. Mephibosheth said he gonna be the king. He lied on him. But now all these people are coming, so it's a bunch of mess. And David is having to be political. The flesh must be destroyed so the spirit can thrive. The flesh must be destroyed so the ruach can thrive. Now, a lot of that, a lot of those things that are going on with David, I think we talked about last week about David forgiving. Okay, all right. Let's just turn to 2 Samuel 19. We'll get rolling here. We're going to roll up. I'm going to look at Shimei before. Brother, read 2 Samuel. Read 2 Samuel 16. 2 Samuel 19, 16 through 17a. Read that, brother. We're going to look at Shimei briefly.
And Shimei, son of Gera, a Benjamite, who was from Behiram, hastened and came down with the men of Yehuda to meet sovereign David. So hang on right there. So they're coming because it's official. Absalom is dead. The revolt it's been squelched out, like it's a wrap. Okay, go ahead. And with him were 1,000 men of Benjamin.
How many?
1,000.
How many?
1,000.
I wonder if these 1,000 men, were they coming with money and gold? I wonder if they were fighting men. Go ahead and finish that A part.
And Tishba, the servant of the house of Shaul, and his 15 sons, and his 20 servants with him. And they rushed over the yard before the sovereign. Okay, so David is making his return. We got people coming to the king. Now remember, we talked about, brother, really quick, get us 2 Ezra 13. 2 Ezra. So that's going to be in your small little pocket knife sword. Oh, yeah.
2 Ezra 13, 12 and 13. Just let me know whenever you get it. But remember, so people are coming. So we have this one guy, Shimei, who talked a bunch of crap, bunch of trash. But now he's coming, and he is repenting. But I got 1,000 men with me. So this is why I say it's political. So David is trying to restore Israel, but it is by the flesh. And what I mean is that it's political. Shimei is asking for repentance. It's very believable, but I got 1,000 men on the other side of Jordan now. So if you accept me and bring me back into the body, you follow me. You follow me. If you accept my forgiveness, because I'm sorry with the undertone. Because on the other side of the river, 1,000 men of Benjamin. And we know from this book, Benjamin good with that bow now. They good with that bow. So you can have 1,000 more men added back to it. Right now the army is in disarray. Yeah. It's in disarray. David is one, he's off his, my boy is dead. In the back of David's mind, you know what he's thinking? The seer told me. That's why he said, man, look, my mighty men, when you find a young lad, don't kill him. Bring him back safely. Joab, a man of war, said, you let this man live, he's going to do it again. Remember, he played an interesting role when he was stuck in them trees, hanging between the what? Heaven and the earth. Hanging in the air. It was pierced by some sharp like somebody else we know. That's why when they're on that road to Emmaus, he said, look, I'm telling you now, the book is about me. I'm opening up these scriptures to you. This book about me now. I don't care who you turn to, you're going to see me. The Father of peace, hanging in the air. Stuck. Go ahead, brother. 2nd Esdras 13, 12, 13.
Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before.
Is that 13, 12 through 13?
Okay, I thought you said 12 and 13. 13, 12 to 13. I apologize.
That's all right, bro.
All right. Afterward, I saw the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad. Some were what? Some were glad. Some were sorry. Some of them were bound. And other some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, Thou hast shewed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer.
Amen. So we get a picture of something in the future where all the people are going to come to this great warrior king and all different kind of stuff. Happy, glad, sad, right? We ain't going to go there, but 2 Thessalonians talk about Yahshua gathering the people. And people are coming in different scenarios. We have in 2 Samuel 19, all of these different people coming to David. But David cannot handle it the way it is told in 2nd Esdras. Because David is a king. He's also a man of the what? Flesh. He's not a man of the Shemayim. He's not a man of heaven. Right? He's got a heart after Yah. But right now, a lot of this stuff has to do with the flesh of man. So he's trying to unite the kingdom. You got one guy saying, hey, look, I got 1,000 men with me. If you take me and if you accept my apology and my repenting, then I'm with you, there with you. You look across the water, 1,000 men ready to go. Okay? Political. David's emotional right now. Okay? You got this other man here, Ziba. He brings his 15 sons and 20 servants to come and be before the king. So all these people are coming to be before the king to escort the king back. And Israel, the northern tribes, get mad and say, hey, wait a minute. Y'all about to cross the river without us? You about to go without us, but we're the ones. So right now, David is trying to keep the body, what? Together. This is what you got to see. But the man of the hour is emotionally done. Turn back a page. Joab had to come and ring him a new one. Say, get your butt up. You would have been more happy if we'd all died and Absalom would have lived. Political. King, here's my apology. Also, I have 1,000 men of Benjamin. Mighty warriors. Right? We don't get all other, but the other people coming in. So this unification of the body is political. Mm-hmm. It's emotional. It's of the flesh. But somebody else must come and unite the body, and it will not be by the flesh. It won't be how David says to Amasa, hey, you're of my bones, you're of my flesh. Come back. Come lead the army. Because you know what happened to Amasa? You won't believe what Joab did. Amasa, hey, how you doing, man? So good that David brought you back. I'm glad, and I know you good. I know you're David's nephew, and you didn't mean no harm. And he, rubbing his beard, and he pulled him close to him, and in his other hand, he had the dagger. See, Yahshua's not going to unite. It ain't going to be like this. But what for everything was written before time is written for your what? So we get an understanding on how powerful this king of war going to be. And when he come down from fighting, he come down that mountain, everybody come. Happy, sad, but they don't be coming with no mess. A lot of these folks coming with some mess. Okay? So I want to clear that up before we went through that. Okay, finishing part 2. Flesh will be destroyed to the rock can thrive. Romans 13, it reads, loveth worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. Everything that we read in these letters, it's like 2,000 some years old. And they write as if it's like about to happen right now. So why our urgency is so like we sleep? For now is our salvation nearer than we believed. You know what salvation they're talking about? What he read in what he read in 2nd Ezra. That's salvation. He was a bad man fighting in that 2nd Ezra, that 13th chapter, wasn't he? He was a bad man fighting now. He said, man, he had fire, glass, shrapnel, everything. Yochanan sees him, man, I just saw a sword come out of his mouth. So you know, this man's so cold, I ain't got nothing in my hands. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off works of darkness. The New Testament, once again, people points to our behavior. I understand why Israelites want to knock the New Testament, because you got to act right. Joker. We'll say something else. Never mind. And let us put on the armor of light, changing. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put ye on the Lord, the Master, Yahshua HaMashiach. And look, very important, make not provision for the what? So David is in trying to reunify in 2 Samuel 18, 19, and 20 he's doing this by the what? Flesh. And it's just not going to work to fulfill the lust thereof. Okay? Oh, my bad. Psalm 51. Psalm 51. Psalm 51 and 15. We should know this because we sing it, don't we? Psalm 51 and 15, and it reads, O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of Elohim are a broken spirit and a broken and contrite heart. O God, thou wilt not despise. Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and whole burnt offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar. All right, so the first step in unification, or in this reconciliation unto him, is that we must be honest with ourselves. Verse 13 on the screen. Let us walk what? Honestly. Honestly. I think somebody was talking about integrity today. Day and night. This is how you must walk. I don't care about your fringes, your zeets, your hair, your Hebrew. I don't care. Walk honestly. So the sacrifices of Elohim are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. He's not going to despise that. So when we read what he read in 2nd Ezra in that 13th chapter, there will be some people like Shimei who got some dirt on him, but his repentance was, hey man, I have sinned. Straight up, I have sinned. There are going to be people coming to Yahshua like, man, like I'm just not right. But once again, he judges the heart. He knows. Okay. All right, Hebrews 13. Hebrews 13 and 15. Hebrews 13 and 15. Hebrews 13 and 15 reads, by him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifices of praise to Elohim continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. Right? So in other words, priest, we want to be called priest and high priest and things like that, but then there should be sacrifices daily. Well, I ain't got no, we ain't under that old law. I ain't got no altar. No. Out your mouth.
Right.
Out your mouth.
That's right.
Turn to 1 Peter. 1 Peter, first chapter. Or 1 Peter 1. Remember them commercials, the old Dare and drug commercials? No, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. And it's what they say. The brain is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Look here, the flesh is something that you can waste now.
Amen.
Okay, the flesh is something that we gotta waste. But the problem is, you live in it. You gotta be on your job every day. Some folks got regular jobs. Got regular jobs and don't have times where man just ain't working right at work. But we all have a job when it comes to our flesh every day. That's the stuff that we're going to be held accountable for. How did you maintain and sacrifice your flesh daily? 1 Peter, first chapter 17, and it reads, and if you call on the Father, who with our respective persons judges according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. For as much as ye know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of Mashiach, as of a lamb without blemish, without spot, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you. Time out. So Yah already had this worked out to bring you to him. Once again, Yah is playing big boy. He's like, look, other one, I give you 1,000 years worth of chess moves ahead before I even make one play. Look, he already know you gonna play it to where my son over here, he gonna have to go down there and be in the flesh. He gonna have to go and be in the flesh. Verse 21. Who by him do believe in God that raised him up from the dead. Once that's supernatural. That you believe that someone was raised from the dead. Right? So this. So when we talk about us going back where we came from, you already believe in supernatural things that just have been drilled in your head, that you don't even stop and think about it. So then as the word becomes more opened, or things might become more revealed, right? I'm not thinking, because some things I just take at face value. Yeah, the Lord was risen up. He was risen up. He was risen up. Like, you do understand that they saw him murdered. And then 3 days later, he's breaking bread, eating fish, walking through walls. Feel my hand, touch my side. Supernatural. They're like, everything that the prophets have spoken is true.
Yes.
Thank you, son. Who do believe in God that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God. Seeing that you have purified your souls in obeying the truth, purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren. See that you love one another with a pure heart fervently. What was this? Romans up here on the screen. Love is work of no ill to his neighbor. Therefore love is the fulfilling of the Torah. We have Peter. What is Peter telling you in 22? Seeing you have purified yourselves and obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren. Brethren. See that you love one another with a pure heart fervently. Being born again. Not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible by the word of Elohim, which liveth and abideth forever. For all what? Flesh. So what David was doing was something that was by the flesh. It's going to pass by. We live in the era of politics. How do I know that? You got Democrats and Republicans. And one side will sway the majority of the people. How do you think Trump got in? How do you think Obama got in? How's a young African American gets in? The people are swayed. Swayed like the way Absalom swayed people? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, if I was the king, it would be like this.
Yeah.
We got to stop acting brand new when it comes to this book now. Ain't nothing new under the sun. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man is the flower of the grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. But the word of Yah endureth forever. And this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you. Okay. Hebrews 4. Hebrews 4, 1 through 2. Let us therefore fear at least a promise being left us of entering into his rest, if any of you should seem to come short of it. Unto us was this gospel preached, as well as unto them. So what we're talking about has been talked about before. This technically is not new. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. So the word cannot, the word cannot help you if ain't no faith in them. So you can hear the word and be a non-believer and it not do you any good. Okay? Same chapter, verse 12. See, this makes more sense. For the word of Elohim is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the divine asunder of soul and spirit, the joints, marrow, and is discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. That's why when Yahshua's on the scene, he can do things other kings, other mighty men could not do. He'll say something. People think. They think. And what does the book say? It says, he discerning their thoughts. Yeah. But Yochanan said he's the word made what? Flesh. And we sit here reading that the word is like a sword. Yeah. So when the word come back to fight, you know he's going to fight with a sword. Out of his mouth. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him whom we have to do with. So you cannot, so you cannot cover yourself when it comes to this one. You cannot cover yourself. Other people could kind of pull some strings on David or kind of bargain at the bargaining table. Yahshua's not going to he's not going to be emotionally drained. Whereas David lost a son, Yahshua coming to save sons. David lost a son. He lost a son, lost a nephew, Yahshua coming to save. But when you're doing it by the flesh, then you're at the mercy of the flesh. Because all flesh is like grass, it withereth away. That's what the book says. But the word endureth forever. So if the word coming back and saying, it's the word that is come back to rescue and to deliver, now the victory. Yes. Verse 14. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that has passed into the Shamayim, the heavens, Yahshua, the Son of God, let us hope as a profession. For we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. That's that right there.
Yeah.
We just read that Yah had a plan preordained from the beginning. And in his plan, I'm going to return all this back to me, and I'm going to send my boy, and I'm going to wrap him up in their flesh and their bones. He going to eat, live, and breathe like a human being. And he's going to go through every temptation. He's going to knock them down. All of them. And he's going to make a way for them. So if they're going to come back to me, it's going to be my way at my time. But was in all points tempted like we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly into the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. So if you're following this pattern, if you're walking after him, then yeah, this is true. Yeah, you can come before him. Because you end up being like him. Okay? It's like a new movie coming out. And then you get an early ticket. You get to go to the show before the movie drops. 1 Thessalonians 4. So we kind of left off with David with this people coming to meet him, and why they're coming to meet him. It's eventually about David being escorted, because David is all the way where? Right? In the hill country in Israel, right? So, and so there he's about to be escorted back. That's what we stopped at. Okay? So they want to escort him back. Escort the king. This is so serious that they got the fighting over it. They're about to cross the Jordan. And Israel's like, yo, what about us? We were the ones that said that he should be back installed. Very important. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, the voice of the archangel, and the trump of God. The trump of God. You won't believe what Joab did after Absalom got killed. You know what Joab did? He blew that shofar, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Okay? So it took me a while to get to this. The New Testament Greek breakdown of meat. Okay? So I know some got different versions, but so we're looking at verse 17. To be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the master in the air. So meet is a pontasis. Okay, and it comes from the idea of to come, opposite to meet, especially to meet face to face. So when we go back to David, and it's time for David to go back to be the king, the people got to do what?
Meet him.
They got to come meet the king. You got to come meet the king. And look, this ain't no just sending a letter. It's old people. The older man, like, look, man, I'm 80-some years old, man. I'm not going to Jerusalem. Thank you for the offer. Let my servant go and give to him what you was going to give to me. David said, it is as you say. But you got to go meet the king face to face.
All right.
So meeting him in the air describes the meeting, especially a meeting of two who are coming from different directions. Now we know that the first man is a man on earth, but the second man is a man in the what? Shamayim. In Greek culture, the word had a technical meaning to describe the visit of dignitaries to cities where the visitor would be formally met by the citizens or a deputation of them who had gone out from the city for this purpose and would then be ceremonially escorted back into the city. So in 2 Samuel, David's return, David is letting all the people cross before him, all these people, because they're going to escort the king back to the throne. They're going to escort him. So Israel is heated. It's like, y'all won't go without us? And what is David? He's trying to unify the body, but it's by the flesh. Now it's starting to make sense. A pontiff was often used to suggest the meaning of a dignitary or king, a famous person describing people rushing to meet the one who was coming. What are you in 2nd Ezra again? But then he say when he come down the mountain, people was coming, they flocking to him in all kind of situations. Some folks was in cuffs and chains, they were bounded up. Then you ever see people do the sack race? Folks is in trying to get to the king, whatever I gotta do to see him face to face. Because you won't believe what it tell you in your book now. Because you gotta be found worthy to do what? Stand in front of the Son of Man. Because you gotta see the king now. Hybert had a similar comment on the meaning of a pontiff, writing in that in Hellenistic Greek, the expression had become a kind of technical term denoting a ceremonial meeting with a person of position. In papyrus usage, it was used of an official delegation going forth to meet a newly appointed magistrate or other dignitary upon his arrival in their district. Hogg and Vine remark, almost invariably the work suggests that those who go out to meet him intend to return to their starting place with the person met. But Thomas feels the usage of the noun in the LXX, as well as differing features of the present context, Christians being snatched away rather than advancing their own to meet the visitor, is sufficient to remove this passage from the technical holistic sense of the word. A meeting in the air is pointless unless the saints continue on to heaven without the Lord. So this is different people commentary, but I thought some of this was pretty good. All right, so the picture portrayed by the preposition unto or into is that meeting occurs between the Lord coming from one direction and the believers coming from another to meet together in the air. There are 3 uses of apostasis in the New Testament: Matthew 25:6, Acts 28 and 15, and 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Okay, so this meeting is 2 coming from different directions. You got to meet the king face to face, just as they had to go meet David face to face to escort him back to Jerusalem. All right, Psalms, I have this on the screen for you, Psalms 32 and 22. Blessed is the man unto whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. 32 and 2, I'm sorry, 32 and 2. Then we have, now, so remember we just read, blessed is the man to whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. Now in 1 Peter, 2nd chapter, 20-22, for what glory is it if we be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently. But if when you do well, you suffer for it and take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. For even here too we were ye called, because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow in his steps. Listen. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Now it was written in the writings, blessed is the man in whom the Lord approved not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. Well, who fits that description? Nobody else fits that description. Ephesians 2 and 15. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity. Somebody give me Genesis 3 right quick. Brother, give me Genesis 3. And look at Genesis 3 and maybe 19, or where he is talking about between the enmity between the woman and the serpent. Might be 3 and 19, but might be a little early in that chapter.
Yes, this is 15. And I put enmity between you and the woman.
I put what?
Enmity.
Between who?
You and the woman.
You and the woman. So Yah put enmity there. And now we have Ephesians 2 and 15. Look here. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity. So there is something that Yah put, and if he put it there, there's only one who can remove it. There's only one who can remove it. Thank you, brother. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments containing ordinances, for to make in himself, for to make in who? Himself of twain, one what? New man. So a new creature. How he's a new creature. He's the first fruit from the dead.
Amen.
So making what? Shalom. Wasn't Absalom named again? My father's peace.
Yeah.
He was hanging up in there, wasn't he? You got to saw a picture of somebody who will bring peace. Who gonna be hanging between the Shamayim and the earth and gonna be stuck in the side. He said in a book written about me. Game changer ahead. Game changer ahead. Brother, give me 2 Samuel 11 through 16. A son of David in the flesh, but not of the flesh. So we're looking for somebody who is a son of David. In the flesh, but not of the flesh.
Right.
Does that make sense? To be in it, but not of it.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother. Read.
And Uriah said to David, The ark and Israel and Yehuda are dwelling in booths, and my master Joab and the servants of my master are encamped in the open fields. And should I go to my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your being lives, let me not do this.
No, where you at, brother?
I am in 2 Samuel 11 and 11.
No, 7,
7 and
11 through 16.
Okay, I thought you said 11 through 16. My bad again.
That's all right, brother.
Even from the day I command rulers over my people Israel, and have caused you to rest from all your enemies, and Yah has declared to you that he would make you a house. When your days are filled and you rest with your fathers, I shall raise up your seed after you, who comes from your inward parts, and shall establish his reign.
I shall do what? Raise a what?
Raise up a seed after you, who comes from your inward
From
parts.
your inward parts.
Yes.
So it's got to be in the flesh, but not of the flesh. Go ahead, keep reading.
He does build a house for my name, and I shall establish the throne of his reign forever.
Now say it again. He does what now? He builds
a house for my name.
Right, builds a house for the name. So we and on our end in 2019 got the law, the prophets, the writings. We have the epistles of the apostles, the letters to the different brethren in different scenarios concerning your daily life and trying to do the right thing and get better. We have that. We have the Ruach question, thought-provoking question. Is he talking about David? Talking about the house Solomon gonna build? Or is he talking about another house? Because the house he got to dwell in now. And all over your New Testament, the apostles, men that were close and walked with him, talked with him, studied with him, ate with him, slept with him, laughed with him, said, man, you lively stones. They said, he's going to build up a spiritual house. He's going to dwell in it. So we hear the prophets say that. And that word's so powerful. We don't know if it's 20 years from now, 30 years from now when Solomon get going, or a couple thousand years down the road. That's the effect of the word. Because once again, flesh is like what? It's like grass. It wither away. I had a brother this morning talking about, man, this grass is, just kill it, get rid of it, and start over. But the word of Elohim, forever. And that what he read, he said, somebody going to establish our house forever. Thank you, brother. So, were you finished? Was you at 16?
No, I was.
Go ahead, read.
I am to be his father, and he is my son.
I'm to be what?
His father.
Okay.
If he does perversely, I shall reprove him with the rod of men, and with the blows of the Son of Man. But my loving commitment does not turn aside from him, as I turned it aside from Shaul, whom I removed from before you.
Mm-hmm.
And your house and your reign are to be steadfast forever before you.
Mm.
Your throne is established forever.
Forever. Now, this person has to be a son. He said, I'm going to be their father. They're going to be my son. And if they get out of line, I'm going to whoop them. Mm-hmm. Now, we just read a text in, what did we read? It was, we read Peter or Ephesians about, hey, when you get punished for doing something, you know, like, as in like, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and you still get punished, God is pleased. Did Yeshua do what he was supposed to do?
Yes.
And he still got punished? Mm-hmm. And the Father was what? Pleased. He was well pleased. But we just read earlier how it was foreordained before the creation of the world. Mm-hmm. That he already had it. He already had it. It was already on his mind to do it. I just need this knucklehead to set up the board for me. So the son of David in the flesh, but not of the flesh. Okay. We're in Matthew 12 now, verse 22. 12 and 22. So we're looking for the son of David, who has to be, in the flesh, has to be physically in the flesh, but he got to be of the flesh now. Okay. Matthew 12 and 22, and it reads, there was brought unto him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, is not this the son of David? Because they had Shmuel too. They read the same thing he just read. They looking too. How many of y'all knew that some thought that Judas Maccabee, they thought he was a Mashiach at one point? So now we understand how it's easy for people to get, well, the way the world is when your military or your army knocks somebody off, you know, like your God gets to, hey, our God gave us the victory, right? That's what the Philistines would say, or the Canaanites would say, or the Ammonites, or the Egyptians. Hey, we beat you, and our God whooped your God. But y'all like, I'm not like them. I'm not like them. It'd be too easy. The one time I got involved, I made Egypt corrupted. Egypt fell down. The time I had to get involved to pull y'all out. Somebody give me Matthew 15 and 23, and somebody else give me Mark 10, 46 through 52. Somebody give me Matthew 15 and 23, and somebody else give me Mark 10, 46 through 52.
But he did not answer her a word. And his taught ones came and asked him, saying, send her away, because she cries after us.
My bad, 22, bro. 22 and 23, I'm sorry.
And see, a woman of Canaan came from the borders and cried out to him, saying, have compassion on me, O master, son of David.
Son of who?
David. My daughter is that badly demon-possessed. But he did not answer her a word. And his taught ones came and asked him, saying, send her away, because she cries after us.
Now look at this. We have Yahshua coming through, and a Canaanite woman knew.
Yeah. Came
to him. And you know, it gives you a little picture of what it's going to be like when Yahshua come off that mountain from whooping Salada behind now. Most going to be coming to him.
Yeah.
I need you. Have mercy on me, son of David. Who got Mark?
Mark 10.
Yeah, 46 through 52. Go ahead.
Mark 10, 46 through 52. Now they came to Jericho, and he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great multitude. Blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the road begging. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Yeshua, son of David.
Son of who?
David. Have mercy on me.
I got a question. What was his daddy name? I mean, what was his? Joseph.
Okay.
But the people.
Yeah.
The people said son of
David.
And they know what the book said. They know what they heard growing up now.
That's it.
The Mashiach gotta come. And you won't believe, well, how the Mashiach, who he gonna be a? He gonna be a David. He gonna be a David. He gonna do what David couldn't do. How do we know that? Did you finish that? Was that
No,
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish back.
Then many warned him to be quiet,
Mm-hmm.
but he cried out all the more,
Cried out even more.
Son of David,
Son of who?
have mercy on me, Son of David. So
Have mercy
Yeshua
on me.
stood still and commanded him to be called.
Mm-hmm.
Then they called the blind man, saying to him, Be of good cheer, rise, he is calling you. And throwing aside his garment, he rose and came to Yeshua. So Yeshua answered and said, What do you want me to do for you?
Time out hold it right there. Now, remember when David was being escorted as king, or was about to begin to escort, right? The apotheosis that we looked at in 1 Thessalonians, that people are coming to him. I need this. Can you help me with this? Can you fix this? That's the king of Israel. It's the son of David. Go ahead and finish.
Okay. The blind man said to him, Rabboni, that I may receive my sight. Then Yeshua said to him, Go your way, your faith has made you well. And immediately he received his sight and followed Yeshua on the road. So,
see, the son of David brings healing. And the son of David is going to restore or fix the body.
Hallelujah.
He's going to fix that's why he has to be the head. The problem is people fall in love with Absalom. Pay attention.
Yeah.
People fall in love with Absalom. This same man we're reading about. You got a choice to make. Whoever you choose, I release him or I release Barabbas. And the crowd says, crucify him. Give us Barabbas. Whose name meant son of another one. So the book shows us that people within the body are going to choose another head. It's what for everything's written aforetime is written for mine. And through the comfort and the patience of the scriptures, man, I might have hope. So my hope is to look for the son of David.
Hallelujah.
When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou this time restore the kingdom to Israel? This is Acts 1 and 6. After a resurrected man we saw murdered. We was in hide. We thought we were next. We saw him murdered. Went to court, found guilty. We saw him murdered. Is up. And for 40 days he's been teaching things pertaining to what?
The kingdom.
The kingdom, that's right. Amen. I be saying little stuff because I want y'all to know. It ain't for me to sit up here and spy. I need you to know. That you a teacher. At your job. In the store. But you got to be right with the Most High. You got to be right with him. Then the word just come out of you. It's his word, not your word. Right place, right time. So 2 things we got to look at here. 2 things. Okay. Number 1, they know beyond a shadow of a doubt he is the what? King. When will he rule? Okay. They know he's the king. Right? There are certain parts they're trying to make him the king. They're trying to escort him through Jerusalem through what? Make him the king. Throwing the palm branches and got him on they want to make him so they get it. Ding, ding, ding. We found him. This is him. Number 2, New Testament writing, it shifts from when to how. We got to be able to notice that in our New Testament. The writing shifts from when, right? Remember Acts 1 and 6. When will you restore the kingdom? To now how? Because clearly, if you're so powerful with the snap of your fingers, You can get the Herodians off the throne. You can get rid of Rome. You can knock down the garrisons. You can, you can clean up, and then you can sit, and then we're good. So now it's not so. But if you're not going to do it that way, well, then how are you going to do it? So then the writing in the New Testament shifts, and we see things like he's going to bring all things to himself. He's gonna be over or be subject over the air and the land and the things under the land. Now it gets extra supernatural because it's not going to be a military conquest as they had thought. Isn't that right? That's what Judas Maccabee did. That's what they thought. My bad. Hey, Ephesians 2:16. Okay, how is this going to happen? Okay, so we know you're the guy, but like, how are you going to do it? Like it should be armed. Like where the army at? Where the guns and the swords and where the people at? Where the chariots at? You don't think that they remember how Elisha opened up the eyes of the young men and they saw all them chariots and angels and horses of fire? They're like, well, okay, so like when you can do that. You can do that. When you gonna do that? So it goes from when to how Ephesians 2:16, and it reads, and that he is Yahshua might do what? Reconcile both unto who? God the Father in what? One what? Body.
Yes, sir.
Like how? So the shifting changes. They're telling you he's going to reconcile all things back unto God into one body through the Son of David. Ain't no mention about no weapons, no war, no. He said, this is how it's going. This is how. Nobody better than Shaul, master of the law. Had to go blind so that he could see again. He had to go into darkness to come into light. He had to go to Mount Sinai for a couple years and have some one-on-one. But he cold enough in that book to have one-on-one with him, to be a student in a doctorate class of the law. All things supernatural included. That's why he say, hey, look, I didn't go through the apostles. I didn't need to. He said, I'm a master of the law, number one. And then number two, I've been with a teacher for 3 years. Behind a mountain in private classes, private sessions. Said when I got out of my sessions, I was off and running. So from darkness to light, he's going to reconcile, that he might reconcile both unto God in one body by the cross, having slain the what? Enmity thereby. What enmity? Probably what was told in Genesis. He's going to crush the serpent's head. There's a section, I think it may be the Chronicles of Samuel, where it says, and Satan stood against David. David flipped out. You know what David did? He broke the law. What did he do? He numbered the men. Remember that? But this other son of David, this other man, you come holler at me when I'm in the wilderness fasting and I'm weak and tired. I'm going to hit you with word. Hallelujah. So I'm the word made flesh. And then the word go out to all the darkness. Remember all the prophets a couple thousand years ago that was doing all that talking and stuff? And he's here. Where? He's here. The son of the El Elyon is actually here. Walking around, healing. Causing darkness to flee and getting the people to return to the core essence of the Torah. But what about the religion? What about the laws around it? They're not doing it. Brother, give me 2 Peter, 1st chapter, 11 through 14. So we have to go. We have to change, brothers and sisters. That's just no other point. Just call a spade a spade. You got to change. You can't be the same person. You got to change. We have to change.
2 Peter.
2 Peter, first chapter, 11 through 14. Go ahead, brother, read.
As obedient children,
Uh-huh.
not conforming yourselves to the former lust in your ignorance.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Instead, as the one who called you is set apart, so you also should become set apart in all behavior.
Oh, okay.
Hallelujah.
Because it has been written, be set apart, for I am set apart.
Mm.
And if you call on the Father, who without partiality judges according to each one's work, pass the time of your sojourning in fear.
That's it.
You said through
14 through 14.
14 through...
Where'd you start? I'm sorry.
It's 11 through 14.
Oh, 11 through...
Yes, sir.
why
First
did
Peter,
time
Second
out.
Peter.
I said 14. Verse 11. Let me start back.
Second Peter,
Man,
first chapter.
Too many years
11 through
today.
14.
Searching to know what, or what sort of time, the Spirit which was in them was pointing out concerning Messiah, when it was bearing witness beforehand the sufferings of Messiah and the esteems that would follow, to whom it was revealed that they were serving not themselves, but you in these matters which now have been announced to you through those who brought the good news to you by the set apart Spirit sent from heaven, into which messengers long to look into. Therefore, having girded up the loins of your mind, being sober, set your expectation perfectly upon the favor that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yeshua Messiah.
At the revelation of who?
Yeshua Messiah. As obedient children, not conforming yourselves to the former lust in your ignorance. Instead, as the one who called you is set apart, so you also should become set apart in all behavior. Because it has been written, be set apart, for I am set apart.
Because it's been what?
It has been written.
It's been written.
Yeah.
Well, if everything written aforetime is written for you learning.
And it actually has the first.
Go to 2 Peter 1 and 11. You said first or second?
Second Peter.
Okay.
2 Peter 1 and 11.
Through 14.
For in this way, an entrance into the everlasting reign of our Master and Savior, Yeshua Messiah, shall be richly supplied to you. And so I intend to remind you of these matters again and again, though you know them and have been established in the present truth. But I think it is right, as long as I am in this tent.
And this what?
This tent. To stir you up by a reminder. Knowing that the putting off of my tent is soon.
The putting off of what?
My tent is soon. Even as our Master Yeshua Messiah made clear to me.
Hallelujah.
So we got to change, though.
Yes, we must change.
Got to change. So it's in the plan of Yah for us to change. Because then, I know you flesh and bones, but you're going to be a different kind of, you're going to be a different kind of creature. You ain't going to be the same. I know how, look, the way you start the game, don't mean how you're going to finish the game. Look, when I used to, look, my sophomore year, I got taken out of the starting lineup, like 6 man. And I acted like I was cool. I was mad. Had a talk, had a one-on-one with coach. He said, look, man, it ain't who start the game. It's who finish the game. If you're on the floor in the second half, in the last 5 minutes, that's all you need to know. When the game's at the highest, most critical point, are you on the floor? Did it really matter that they called your name out and said, Jeremy Vonner from Atwood, Tennessee, West Carroll High School? Did that really matter? As opposed to being on the floor in which one hold more weight? So with the plan of Yah, so I know how you start. How you going to finish? I'm giving you all the tools you need to help you get across that finish line. Don't worry about your reward. I got it for you. He said, look, that's what I did. He said, look, don't worry about your reward now, brother. Look, I got it for you. You just get there.
Yeah.
I give you all the tools you need. I'll even put you around people you need to be put around. I'll do whatever I got to do to get you there. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 45. So we've transitioned now, obviously, to Mashiach. We started out in this series with Adam. We went to David. Now we're talking about Mashiach now. 1 Corinthians 15, Verse 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul, nephesh. And the last Adam was made a quickening, ruach.
Hallelujah.
Which one got more power? Howbeit that was not first, which is spiritual. So Adam was not spiritual, but that which is natural. And afterward, that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth, earthly. The second man is the master from heaven, the Lord from heaven. As is the earthly, such are they also that are earthly. And is the heavenly, such are they that also are heavenly. And as we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Now, 49 again. As we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Remember what the brother read. Okay? In 2 Peter, 1st chapter, 11 through 14. I got to take off this tent. As the Lord taught me to take off this tent. I got to take it off because I got to put on another one. So verse 49. As we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. So how he looks, we're going to look. Yes. Remember, that matters. What did Yah say in the beginning? He said, let us make man in our image. So whatever's written aforetime is written for your learning. So when it comes to this new creature, you're going to be in his image. So the way we are now, it will not be the way we are then. Yes. But you got to get to the finish line. And it won't be by the flesh. You're not going to be able to be politically correct or flow off your emotions. That will get you slain. How do I know? The book told me. Amasa slain. Shimei. Shimei got killed. He got grace and peace from David. Solomon came off with his head. Now I say this, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim. Neither does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you all a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. So when we talk about the beginning, that the woman was taken from where? Out of man. Yes. Therefore, this second woman, for this second man, she would have to be like him. Yes. So she would what? Fit. Yes. Well, fit into what? Well, the writers of the New Testament, remember, it shifted from when you're going to restore to how you're going to restore. And they use things like a vine, branches. They use examples like the body. He's the head. It's where your brain is. It's where your mouth is. Where your eyes are. And all the extremities are important, necessary. You got to work together. The head supplies everything to the body. But we get this is ancient parables and riddles. He said, I'll spew out my mouth. Why? Because you don't fit. When you throw up, something didn't sit right in me. It didn't match. Had to spit you out. 52, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, to the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. That is not what Shaul said about taking off my tent as the Lord showed me. So now we see that when Shaul says, I was off in training, 3 years of solitude of a high level Torah, supernatural with him. Oh, he ain't playing. Peter Shaul, I mean, he ain't with us, but he with us. And he about that work. And they're going to be messing up his stuff because he on a whole nother level. Straight up. We've seen this, brothers and sisters, that this mortal must put on immortality. You got to become immortal because you're going back where you came from. flesh and blood cannot inherit this.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't. Great master plan by the master in the Shamayim, Yah on the throne. He said, go ahead, knucklehead, make your moves. I give you a couple thousand years, don't worry about it. Somebody give me Ephesians 5, 21 through 29. Ephesians 5th chapter. Reader, 21 through 29. Ephesians 5, 21 through 29.
Ephesians 5. There we got it.
Yes. Giving thanks always for all Elohim, the Father, in the name of our Master Yeshua Messiah. Subjecting yourselves to each other in the fear of Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
Wives, subject yourselves to your own husbands as to the master, because the husband is the head of the wife.
The husband is the what?
He is the head of the wife.
So I'm giving you an example so you can understand, is what the writer is saying. Go ahead, brother.
As also the Messiah is the head of the assembly.
He's what?
He's the head of the assembly.
So we're going to give you an example of how the way the man is the head of the woman, Mashiach is the head of the body. Go ahead, brother.
And he is Savior of the body.
He is the what?
He is the Savior of the body.
So this head will save. This head will save. Go ahead.
But as the assembly is subject to Messiah, so also let the wives be to their own husbands in every respect.
Mm-hmm.
Husbands, love your wives as Messiah also did love the assembly and gave himself for it.
You're going to go to 29.
In order to set it apart and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, in order to present it to himself a splendid assembly.
That he might do what?
Present it to himself
Present it to who?
himself.
So he's going to take this group of people. He's going to wash them by the water of the word. He's going to present them to himself. I wonder if this presentation is going to be like where Adam said what when he saw Kuwa?
Flesh of my flesh and bone.
Vaughn, are you crazy? Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep reading, brother. You know I'm crazy.
Not having spot or wrinkle or any of this sort, but that it might be set apart and blameless. In this way, husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but feeds and cherishes it, as also the master does the assembly. Because, that's it.
Hallelujah.
29.
Wow, that's powerful. So he gonna do all that. I wonder when he do that. I wonder what he gonna say. Let's look on the screen.
Yes.
We're gonna finish. Verse 30. It says, "For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones." Have you heard that anywhere before? I mean, I'm just saying. Have you heard that?
Yes.
We started off this section talking about who? Adam. Did Adam say that? Who's the first man?
Yes.
And then we transitioned to the king. King David. King Dawid. Did he say that? Yeah, he did say that. He had a lot of stuff going on, but it came out of his mouth. Out of the abundance of the
Heart.
the mouth speak. So, and he had a heart like,
Yeah.
so even though he got a lot of stuff going on, what he said had a whole lot of weight. And now we have Shaul, who spent all kind of time with Yahshua. And he said, we are members of his what?
Body.
And of his
Flesh.
um,
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall be joined to his wife. Giving you an example. Like he's trying to say, for you to understand, I'm going to give you examples that you can relate with so I can kind of carry that over or parallel it to this relationship with the Mashiach. And they too shall be one flesh. So the way they're one flesh, you're going to be one flesh with him. But you got to be changed. You can't be flesh and blood. You can't be corruptible. You got to become incorruption. You can't be mortal. You got to become an immortal. And I ain't talking about them stupid Greek movies. I'm talking about being Superman. I got something for you, Superman. I got an AK-47 full of kryptonite. I let him have it. Keep your Superman. You say, what you say? Hey, he man got an AK-47 with a kryptonite for your Superman. But that's what they do to try to trick, to try to get you off the map. got an AK-47 full of kryptonite. Verse 32, very important here. This is a great what? Mystery. I think the brother read earlier about the revelation of Yahshua HaMashiach. This right here, what we're talking about today, that is revelation of Yeshua HaMashiach. It's not all of it. I'm sure there's probably more. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Great mystery. Remember, the writing changed from when you're going to restore the kingdom to now how. Because you ain't just going to come in here with a military. We get it. We're going on about our lives. Like, we get it. Like, okay. So, like, we're just figuring out how, okay, how's he going to do this? Well, he's going to reconcile all things into one body, back to God through Mashiach. Entering in. Last part, we got to be able to enter in, or entering in. There's a door open for you people. You willing to go through it? Will the cherubim let you in? Once again, flesh and blood cannot inherit it, right? So, will they let you in? Oh, no, that's it. I'm crazy. Were there not cherubim at the gate of the garden of Eden? You don't think they tried to go back in? They said, man, please, get out. That was Martin Lawrence before Martin Lawrence. Get the step. Get out of my house. Revelation 3rd chapter, verse 7. Revelation 3 and 7. It reads, "And to the angel of the church of Philadelphia write these things, that he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of who? David. He that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set thee an open door. No man can shut it, for thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yehudi, and are not, and do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee." He said, I will make them do it. But you know what you got some crazy out here doing? They'll try to make, they'll be the ones that say, "Get down and kiss my feet." I thought he was going to do it. Anyway. Verse 10, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them which dwell upon the earth." Once again, people are going to fall in love with Absalom all over again now. People are going to fall in love with Barabbas all over again. You're going to have to make a choice now. Everybody else did. "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, and let no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple." Outside of the temple? On top of the temple? Up under the temple? In the temple. The woman came from where? Out of the man. And here we have Yahshua saying, "I'll put you in the temple." I'll put you in the temple. You know what? I'll put you back where you came from. I'll put you back where you came from. You're meant to be there. Don't blow it. "I'll make a pillar in the temple of my God. He shall go no more out." Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. No, man, I'm sorry. "Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my God. Look, he shall go no more out." Amen. So that woman ain't coming out no more. Because we read in Ephesians, what did it say? That they shall be one flesh. Well, you ain't going nowhere. When you in there, "And he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my God, which is the New Jerusalem, which shall come down of the Shemaim from my God. And I will write upon him my new name." Have mercy. Somebody give me Hebrews 10, 15 through 23. Hebrews 10, 15 through 23.
15 through 23. And the set apart Spirit also witnesses to us. For after having said before, this is the covenant that I shall make with them after those days, says Yah, giving my laws into their hearts and in their minds. I shall write them, and their sins and their lawlessness I shall remember no more. Now, where there is forgiveness of these, there is no longer a slaughter offering for sin. So, brothers, having boldness to enter into the set-apart place by the blood of Yeshua.
Having boldness to do what?
To enter into the set-apart place.
To enter where?
The set-apart place.
In. To enter in.
Enter in.
Enter in. And he's sitting here saying, to him that overcometh.
Yeah.
Him that overcometh. So if you overcome, you won't believe this, but you're going where? In.
Yes, sir.
If you overcome, you're going in.
Yes.
If you overcome.
We're going in.
There ain't gonna be no cheat code. This ain't if you're an 80s baby and you had the Nintendo down, up, left, right, A, B, down, right, up, right, A, B, then no. You gotta overcome. Ain't no cheat code for this. Only cheat code you got is the Ruach. That's all you got, baby. Go ahead, brother. Finish.
By a new and living way, which he instituted for us through the veil, that is his flesh.
That is what?
The veil that is his flesh.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. Okay, go ahead, brother. Keep reading.
Where do I stop at again?
You said flesh.
Where?
Oh, stop at 23.
23, okay. And having a high priest over the house of Elohim, let us draw near with a true heart and completeness of belief, having our hearts sprinkled from a wicked conscience and our bodies washed with clean water. Let us hold fast the confession of our expectation without yielding, for he who promised is trustworthy.
So remember how we were talking about earlier in Torah class today about the high priest when he ripped his garments, okay, and he lost his priesthood. So in Hebrews, they're telling you that Mashiach is a high priest, but not like a high priest on earth, but a high priest in heaven. So this particular son of David, so remember the one, I can't think of that, but the one king who started out as a righteous king, but then he just was bored. He said, I'm going to do an offering because I can. Remember? So the kings, the people of Yehuda, the kings, they're like, that's not what you're supposed to do. But what makes the son of David special is that he covers or he fulfills this role of Melchizedek, the righteousness, the king of righteousness. Right? So not only is he a warrior king, and the prophets have had dreams and visions, whether it's Esdras or Yochanan, of seeing this warrior with weaponry coming out of his mouth, but he's also your advocate in the Shemayim to the Father. And this same individual, God had already put in a position that he foreordained before the world so that you could be reconciled unto him into a new body. But it had to be by him, because he also fulfills the role of a what? Lamb. Spotless, innocent. The book tells us there was no guile. Nothing even wrong, nothing bad came out of his mouth. So David said, hey, blessed is the man who has no iniquity, and the man who's found with no guile. He wasn't talking about himself. He was not talking about himself. He was talking about somebody else. Revelation 21. We're about to wrap it up. Revelation 21. Yes, I know. But I hope all this is coming together. I hope all this is coming together, and because I know it's a deep topic. I don't want to lose people, but Revelation 21:1 it reads, and I saw a new Shamayim and a new Eretz, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. I wonder if this tabernacle has any kind of significance to Ezekiel 44. We read that today, didn't we? I wonder if this tabernacle, I wonder if people will be able to go in and out of this tabernacle. I wonder if the sons of Zadok will be able to go and be able to minister before the Lord, like going in and being a pillar of the temple. God is with men. God is with men. What are the 4 I wills of Yah again?
I will be your Elohim.
I will be your Elohim.
I will walk with you.
I will dwell with you.
I will walk with you.
I will walk with you.
I will be in you.
And I will be in you. So when he said it, I wasn't playing. Once again, it's not a question of when you're going to do it. Man, how you going to do this? You ever been in a rut? How y'all, you praying? How you going to get me out of this? When you really give it up, it ain't no more about you. Like, how are you going to get me out of this? I am the one of the 100. There's 99 in the fold, but I've gone away. How are you going to get me out of this? And when we press in, you know what happened? You know what he said? He said, watch me work. He said, watch me work. Watch me work. But don't you blow it. Don't you blow it, Vaughn. And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. That's what he said. What, you thought he was playing? Back on the screen. The goal, the ultimate goal, the ultimate end game. Romans 10. Romans 10:4. Somebody give me Romans 10:4. Somebody else give me Galatians 5:24. Romans 10:4, Galatians 5:24. Ready to wrap this thing up?
Romans 10 and 4.
Galatians 5:24.
For Messiah is the goal of the Torah.
He is the what?
The goal unto righteousness to everyone who believes.
So Mashiach is the goal of the Torah. I like how that translates. The word is telos in Greek, and it means goal. But you know what they put in on there, so you can say it's the end of the law. Hush your mouth. Go ahead.
In Galatians
5:24.
And those who are Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires.
Galatians 5:24.
Galatians 5:24.
23.
23. What do you want? The fruits of the Spirit? Because that's what we are.
Galatians 5, that's the 5th chapter.
Yes, sir. Tell me what you're looking for.
I'm going to turn to it right quick. No, I'm sorry, 3:24. My bad.
3:24.
So I'm going to get you one.
3:24. Therefore, the law was our tutor to bring us to Christ.
The law was our what?
Therefore, the law was our tutor to bring us to Christ.
So the Torah was to bring you to him. Brother, read it again, what you had in Romans 10:4.
For Messiah is the goal of the Torah unto righteousness to everyone who believes.
We see how that worked together. Right? It's just to get you acquainted with him.
Finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Therefore, the law was our tutor to bring us to Christ, that we might be justified by faith.
So what we come to realize is that Yah is king. All things have been given to his son. Amen. Somebody give me Numbers 23 and 21. Brother, give me Deuteronomy 17, 14, and 15 out the Torah. It was both of them Torah.
Numbers
23 and 21.
Numbers 23 and 21. He has not observed iniquity in Jacob, nor has he seen wickedness in Israel. The Lord, his God, is with him, and the shout of a king is among you.
The shout of a what?
The shout of a king is among you.
You don't believe what something Yahshua did when he was hanging up in that suspension between the Shamayim and the earth. You know what he did? He gave a loud shout up, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
You know what he did? He gave up the ghost. He gave a loud shout. It's written in the prophets. You're supposed to lift up your voice like a what?
Trumpet.
And tell who?
Israel.
Their what?
Their sins.
And they said it was a shout of a king within them. Now he's saying that, and we know the children of Israel at that time were not on great standings. So as he's in the spirit prophesying, he sees something else. There was a shout of a king within them. But once again, it had already been written that there was enmity between her seed and the serpent seed.
Yes.
And then he came. He said, I'm going to close that enmity. Go ahead, brother. Read.
Deuteronomy 17,
Yes, sir. 14 through 15.
When you come to the land which Yah your Elohim is giving you, and shall possess it, and shall dwell in it, and you shall say, let me set a sovereign over me like all the nations that are around me.
So they're not even nowhere close to having a king. Right now, who they got? They got Moshe. Not nowhere close to having any kind of monarchical system. But he says, there's going to come a time we're going to cross this bridge. Here's your instructions. Go ahead, brother.
You shall certainly set a sovereign over you, whom Yah your Elohim shall choose.
Who going to choose him?
Yah. Set a sovereign over you from among your brothers. You are not allowed to set a foreigner over you, who is not your brother.
So Yah's going to select the king. So if he's going to select a king for his people, I wonder if it's going to be a king of our flesh or a king of his flesh. Once again, look, he played big boy chess now. So look, I told you now. So remember, look, y'all sure say stuff. I told you it was written to me now. We had to go through the law and the prophets. It was talking about me. But all thing in its right time, decent and order. Somebody give me Psalm 74 and 12. Isaiah 44 and 6. Psalm 74 and 12. Isaiah 44 and 6. I'll take John 1. Psalm 74 and 12. Isaiah 44 and 6.
I got it.
What you got?
I got Isaiah 44 and 6.
Psalm 74 and 12. For God is my king from of old.
He's my what?
He is my king from of old.
See, he an old ancient king, ain't he?
Yes.
I wonder, is that what ain't that what Daniel said, the ancient of on the throne? Go ahead.
For God is my king from of old, working salvation.
Working who?
Salvation in the midst of the earth.
Didn't we read, one of the letters say earlier that our salvation is now nearer than we? And they said he working what throughout the earth?
Salvation.
So this king gonna come down here and bring salvation on this earth now.
Hallelujah.
But when they said it in the New Testament, they said to work out your salvation with what? Fear and trembling. I wonder if that's what Ezra saw when he saw that king. In 2nd Ezra 13th chapter. He was a bad man, whooping everybody's butt. I don't care what Captain Marvel do in the movie. Go ahead, brother.
Thus said Yah, sovereign of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yah of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last. Besides me, there is no Elohim. Now, I think in the King James it'll say king. It'll say king in there, but that's fine. That's fine. The first and he's the last. John or Yochanan. And I got that 1 and 49. 1 and 49. Well, 46. And Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip said unto him, come and see. Yahshua saw Nathanael coming to him and said to him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. Nathanael said unto him, whence knowest thou me? Like, how you know me? Yahshua answered and said, before that Philip called thee, when thou wast under the fig tree, I saw thee. Listen to his response. Nathanael answered and said unto him, Rabbi, thou art the Son of God. Thou art the King of Israel. And we done read Psalms, Isaiah, Numbers. The question from Deuteronomy is, he said, I'll select your king. Was he talking about a king of our flesh from the earth or a king from the Shamayim? On the screen, the Lord said to Shemuel, hearken to the voice of the people and all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me. Why did they reject him? That I should not reign over them. I am their king. It's the only nation that the Elohim is their king. And they said, we don't want that.
So Nathaniel said it right. He said, you're the son of Elohim and you're the king of Israel. He got it right, didn't he? We're going to close on 2 Corinthians. Now, we started 2 Corinthians when we started this project. The case assessment of the body. I should change the name. The case assessment of the body. That's written in the scriptures. Or the scriptures. Should change this. But we started in 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. And now this should make a little bit more sense when we read it. Okay? Because remember, we got to change. We're going to close in this. We got to change. Okay? 2 Corinthians 5. 2 Corinthians 5 and 1. I'm done. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. It's not much your body now. For this we groan. So your Ruach groans for this. Earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven. If so be that being clothed, we should not be found naked. For we are in this tabernacle do groan in your flesh and bones. What Adam gave you. Yeah. Being burdened. It's a burden to be in this. Not for that we should be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Remember, the second man is a quickening what? Spirit. The first man was a living soul, living being. Good job. Now he that wrought us for the self same thing is who? Elohim. Who also hath given unto us the earnest of the Ruach. Yeah. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that while we are home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. Hold it. Yeah. You done been to funerals and you hear that read. But with this understanding, that's not what they're talking about. This was not intended to be read at such and such funeral. When so-and-so give me a New Testament scripture, or the word, or of the homegoing, this is not what it's not what they're talking about. Therefore, we're always confident, knowing that while we are home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. Why? Because he's up there in one kind of body, and we're down here in a whole different kind of body, and we're waiting to be reconciled unto him. But flesh and blood cannot inherit this kind of kingdom. He has to look at us and say, you're of my flesh, you're of my bones. Why would he have to say that? David said it. Why did David say it? Adam said it. But why did Adam say it? He was the first man. He was the first one to give him power and authority over the fowls of the air, the creeping things on the ground, and the fish in the sea. For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and willing whether to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Behavior. So regardless of if you're in this body or if you're in this immortal body, you've got to be accepted of him. Now clearly if you're in an immortal body, then you've been accepted. Okay? But if you're in this body here, you have to do things to be accepted. Well, how do I do that? Sacrifices every day. It's your reasonable service. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. The records have been kept. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made, knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto God, and I trust also are made manifest in your conscience. For we commend not ourselves again unto you, but give you occasion to glory on your behalf, that ye may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance and not in heart. Right? So you're able to talk to them who want to look like a Hebrew, but don't have the heart to cross over. I want to look like a Hebrew, but I ain't got the heart to cross over. I have to cross over. We have to cross over again. We have to be changed from one body to another body. The journey of a Hebrew. For whether we be beside ourselves, it is to God, or whether we be sober, it is for your cause. For the love of Christ constrains us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, then were all dead. And he that died for all, that which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again. We see that. And he that died for all, Mashiach, the son of David, that they which should not henceforth live unto themselves. So you got to remove yourself out of the way. You can't be selfish. But unto him which died for them. Get real quick. Give me Romans 15:3. Romans 15:3, brother.
Romans 15:3.
Mm-hmm.
For even the Messiah did not please himself, but as it has been written, the reproaches of those who reproached you fell upon me.
Woo. So he didn't even please his own self. So now you see why it says, hey, you cannot please yourself. You can't do things for yourself. But you got to do them for him who died for everyone and then rose. So as when it says that the reproaches of them, they reproached thee, and it fell on me. Then will forever things been aforetime written for your learning. Verse 16. Wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh. Wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh. So what David did after the flesh ain't going to work. Not going to work. All this stuff, the so-called Christians and Messianics and believers and Israelites, you fighting and fussing over presidents and politics and this and that, it ain't going to work. Yea, though we have known Christ after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more. So what they knew, that he walked on earth, he ain't like it no more. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Now, and all things are of God, who hath reconciled us to himself by Yeshua HaMashiach, and hath given unto us the ministry of reconciliation. You read this at the beginning of this. Now it should make more sense. To wit, that God was in Christ. God was in Christ. He was where? In Christ. Reconciling the world unto who? Himself. That's interesting. Christ is our head, and God is his head. And Christ is going to bring all things into himself. Not imputing their trespasses unto them. We know that because he's going to wash us. And say, hey, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones, come in unto me. And hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation. Now then we are ambassadors for Christ, as though God did beseech you by us. We pray you in Christ's stead, and be you reconciled to God. For he hath made him to be sin for us, who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God in him. That was 2 Corinthians 5, the whole chapter. But like I said, when we started part 1, we used parts of this chapter. But we needed to go through Adam and David to get to Messiah, to get to the great mystery between the Messiah and the church, and how he's going to bring us together. Now, I thought this would be something good to go through and go over, because when we get to Shavuot, what did he say to me? He said, man, I flew y'all on eagle wings to me. Yeah. And gave you a one-way trip. All expense paid for. Flew you up to me. And then when I asked you to come up, you want to come. You know why? Because we didn't mesh. When I come into y'all realm, when I come into y'all area, I can come as a burning bush. I can be a whisper in the wind. I can be a jackass talking and to the person riding me. I can, that's who wherever I want to be, whatever I want to do, that's me. Or I can come as thunder, lightning, earthquake, fire. But because you are of flesh and bones, we don't mesh. And you got to get on my level. You got to get on my level. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to change it. You got to want to be changed.
Hallelujah.
You got to want to be changed. I got to see you handling your flesh, David.
Come on.
I got to see you doing that. What I'm going to change you for and make you an immortal. That failed already with Adam, right? where they say, get him out of here. Because if he touched that apple, if he touched that tree of life, he'll be like us, immortal. Ain't no good and evil. Get him out of here. So Yah said, I'm gonna make you like me. So the eventual goal is to get you like him. To where whether he a burning bush, he fire, lightning, earthquake, you just like him. And you know your father. Or to be more personal, you know your husband. You know him. Give all praise and honor to Yah for the word. Thank y'all for your time. Pray the word soaks in and settles in. All these scriptures that we go through, write them down and go back and study. Go back and check. Go back and play the video and see it for yourself. So because we all got to grow, and I say that, we all teachers, and I say that, with the asterisk by it, because you got to be in a good place. Okay? Because we see how David tried to reunify the body of Israel, but he really wasn't in a good place, was he? So I should see that example. If I'm not in a good place, I need to keep my mouth closed. If I'm not in a good place, I need to get to where Yah can give me where I need to be. Okay. But with that being said, all praise and honor for the word, and all praise and honor to Yah. Yah should praise through the Ruach. Here's all of our contact information. I'd love for people to reach out, but when you tell the truth, as of right now, you ain't gonna get a lot of people because you're telling the truth. Now, at some point when the bombs start dropping, people start calling. And I understand we ain't gonna hold no grudges, and we understand it is what it is. When the bombs start dropping, and when stuff start going off, and so on and so forth, we gonna be here. One of them small little sanctuaries. We would love for people to reach out and come, and we ain't gonna hurt nobody. We're just gonna get in His Word and talk about the Word and pray for people that need prayer for, and do the best we can, try to help them. But we need to be praying for the laborers. The harvest is plenty. The laborers are few. Ain't that what Yahshua said? Okay. So, but it is what it is. But hey, everybody teach out there, right? The book says everybody want to teach, but you need to be taught your own self. Right. So, but anyway, we give all praise to Yah, and we will see everybody again. Until then, shalom.